Next, the sprint, all out, 3/4 of a mile. Frankel has two of the favorites, Aldebaran and Midas Eyes. In the filly and mare turf, Frankel mounts a major challenge with three highly regarded entries, Tate's Creek, Heat Haze, and Megahertz. The best 2-year-old colt in the land? Cuvée makes his case in the juvenile. As usual, the turf is the U.S. versus Europe, with Gary Stevens getting back up on Storming Home, the horse that unseated him in the Arlington Million, causing serious injury. And finally, $4 million up for grabs in the Classic. Funny Side tackles older horses for the first time, but ridden by Julie Crone. Regular jockey Jose Santos will be aboard last year's upset winner, Volpone.
And it's going to be a huge upset. 40-1 on the wire. Volpone scores in the Classic.
So a wonderful afternoon of racing underway with a big upset in the first race and some familiar faces in the juvenile fillies coming up. That, of course, is Bob Baffert. He has two fillies in the next race, Victory USA and Class Above, highly regarded. And we'll also get our first look this afternoon at Julie Crone loosening up in the jockey's room. She'll be riding the favorite Half Bridled in the juvenile fillies. And let's check the odds as they're going right now for the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies. Dixie High at 40, Shadow of Mine a big long shot, Hollywood Story Force Music at 4-1, a Shadow 13-1, Society Selection a 3-1 play, Class Above is at 4-1, Victory USA 8, Renaissance Lady 35-1, Vino Tinto 70, Zosima 22, Tarlo is 40, Be Gentle 25, and Half Bridled currently at 9-2. Maybe the fans don't like that outside post. We'll be right back. A look at Julie Crone inside the jocks room at Santa Anita, and it's certainly been an interesting past 4 years for her. After a Hall of Fame riding career that included a win in the '93 Belmont Stakes, she retired from racing, losing her focus and passion for the sport in April 1999. She soon got married, moved to California. She tried her hand working on TV, even took up surfing, but none of it could fill the void she had discovered. And just about a year ago, her bug for riding returned. She has since written one of racing's most compelling comeback stories, highlighted by a rise to the top of the jockey standings here in Southern California. Throughout the afternoon, we'll chronicle a day in the life of Julie Crone, beginning here with a trip to her home.
Okay, let's try. Oh, sit down beside me. Okay, ready, Kiko? Being an athlete, your head gets so full sometimes. So when you get to relax and have things that you don't think about anything. I like to do my puzzle, and I like to, as bad as it is, I'm learning how to play the harmonica, so. Good girl.
Dog is hilarious.
I'm just blessed and to have a lot of energy and be healthy. I think about that sometimes, like, oh yeah, I better slow down a little. Like those swirly teeth, in case I win all the good in the winner's circle.
Let's go. Keep on the highway to go. Underneath the cold.
This year's been very, very exciting. My summer was just spectacular. I didn't really set any goals for myself when I came back. I really stayed in the moment and said, you know, I'm going to go see this trainer and learn about this person and meet this person. There she is. It's like selling used cars, kind of, you know. You have to go out there and really sell yourself and say, ride me on this horse. Come on, let me get on this horse. And that's what I did a lot of. Everything's been going very well. I just enjoy it. Like every day when I wake up, I know, and I'm thinking, you know, oh, I get to go out and ride thoroughbred racehorses again. They're just so incredible, and it's such a great job.
Back in Pomona, at the county fair. Back in Pomona, at the county fair.
I think everyone has something that they have to overcome. anybody could feel sorry for themselves or focus on whatever it is that sets them aside. But I never felt like that because I love the horses so much.
And there is Julie, who will be riding half bridle. We'll be following Julie throughout the day. A day at the races with Julie will be coming up a little later on. She's riding half bridle in the outside post position 14 for the unbeaten filly. And a look at Bob Baffert, who has 2 fillies in the race, and Mike Battaglia is down there.
All right, thanks, Tom. And with Bob Baffert, who's saddling 2 horses for the race for the juvenile fillies. And it really wouldn't be a Triple Crown or a Breeders' Cup without having Bob Baffert here, Bob. I know you always gear up toward these big days. What's a day like this mean to you?
Well, it's huge. I mean, the Kentucky Derby is a big day, but Breeders' Cup is what we're all here for, and we buy all these young horses, and it's Day of Champions. Everybody's here, the top trainers, top jockeys, and just to make it this far and have a contender is a thrill. So I'm just glad we're here.
And you're saddling 2-year-old fillies in this one, Victory USA and Class Above. You told me you like them equally.
I think all these fillies in here can beat the boys coming up later on.
Really?
But I think Class Above, Victory USA, we don't know how good Class Above is, but we still have to deal with Half Bridle and some other fillies in there. So you know, that long shot won right now, so I think these jockeys are going to be thinking maybe they need to place their horses a little bit closer, so we'll see what happens.
Well, when the favorite Half Bridle drew the outside, you know more about this track than a lot of people. How tough is it to win from post 14 here?
Well, nobody ever draws 14 here, only during the Breeders' Cup.
How tough
I know,
is
it can be tough, but a good horse can overcome it, so we'll just see what happens.
And you consecrate in the 2-year-old, the juvenile later on, and then Congaree, your big horse in the Classic.
We've got a full day, and I just hope we hit the target there a couple times. We need a couple of bullseyes.
A couple of bullseyes, like I said. Wouldn't be a big day without Bob Baffert. Thanks, Bob.
All right, thank you.
You're right, Mike, and Julie Crone will have to start from that post 14. Yeah, normally they don't have this many horses in a race at Santa Anita. Charles, see how difficult is it to break from the outside on a speed favoring track like Santa Anita? We saw the first winner go wire to wire.
Well, it's not going to help a lot. She can overcome it, but it'll take some doing. And Half Bridle is a very large filly, but she's very quick. She's decimated all these fillies in her 3 starts out here. It has been done from post 14. Pleasant Stage did it back in '91, but you saw what happened to Sightseek. They're not going to give her any breaks trying to get position going into that first turn. But this is a filly for all her size. She's very agile, and she's got a lot of gears. Julie can kind of step on and off the gas at will. So if she has to do this from post 14, she's on the right filly to do it.
Another interesting filly in here, Charles C. Society Selection, who won the Frisette at Belmont Park and ships to Santa Anita with her Hall of Fame trainer, Alan Jerkin, 74 years old, having his first horse in the Breeders' Cup in quite a while. In fact, his first here since 1994.
Well, she won the Frisette in only her 2nd lifetime start, so that was quite a step up from just a maiden race sprinting. She's by Coronado's Quest, who certainly indicates she wants to go around 2 turns. And the feeling has been all along that the West Coast fillies are better than the East Coast fillies, but she was able to beat one of the best West Coast fillies in Bob Baffert's filly Victory USA. So you got to put her in the middle of this.
And now it's time for our next tell call to the post. Julie Crone with a leg up. Actually, that is Vino Tinto with Ryan Fogelsonger. And there's Julie coming up in a moment. And just interesting, Charles, I was just looking at the tote board in the infield here. Half Bridle was 7-5 on the morning line, but currently an overlay at 7-2. That has to be that outside post that's bothering the bettors.
Well, maybe they got stung a little bit losing their money on Sightseek at the first race, so they're going to be a little more cautious with the heavy chalk here. But as I said, I think if any filly can do this from the outside, Half Bridled can. But there are several long shots in here, very interesting and need to be looked at, and we'll do that in a minute. But she certainly knows cinch. But a lovely filly she is, and has won all her races with her ears pricked with absolutely utmost ease. And Julie has a real rapport with her, so they'll be tough even from that disadvantageous post.
And her trainer, Dick Mandela, has been high in his praise of everything this unbeaten filly has accomplished thus far. What we saw in the first race, the Santa Anita track that favors speed, especially in hot weather. True to form, as Adoration went wire to wire. And for these 2-year-old fillies, a lot of this is a new experience. Certainly the size of the crowd, all the hoopla. For some of them, going around 2 turns is a new experience too. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it. Some of them can really become unsettled as they come out onto the track and see all that's going on.
I have to agree, though, with what Bob Baffert said. I think these fillies could probably beat the colts who'll be running later. Fillies are generally more precocious than the boys, but this is a very, very talented group of fillies, and you can go down to the 8 and 10 and 12 to 1 shots here and have a filly who's going to make quite a name for herself. This is a good group.
Unbridled down to 3 to 1 now, but not the odds-on favorite that many thought. In fact, before the post position draw, many were saying she would be the heaviest favorite of the day, but not so. After drawing that outside post position, as it stands now, she would be the longest price favorite in juvenile filly history at 3 to 1. Juvenile fillies, it's for 2-year-old fillies. Grade 1 race at 1 mile and a 16th carries a purse of $1 million. Number 1, Dixie High, Australian-born former steeplechase jockey Adam Kitchingman trains the long shot to his 1-2 of 3 against lesser competition. Number 2, Shadow of Mine, another long shot, bred and owned by Omaha resident Thomas Nichols, only has a maiden win. Number 3, Hollywood Story, has never won in 3 starts, but she is stakes place with potential, ridden by Patrick Valenzuela, who won the first race on Adoration. Number 4 is Force Music. Trainer Mark Schumann broke the Gulfstream Victories mark last winter. This filly won her only start in Maryland. No horse has ever won a Breeders' Cup race after only 1 prior start. Number 5, Ashado. Todd Pletcher also broke records this year, in his case at Saratoga, where Ashado won the Schuylerville and Spinaway, but then faltered in the 1 mile and a 16th Frisette. Number 6, the aforementioned Society selection, the 74-year-old Hall of Fame trainer Alan Jerkins, the Giant Killer, making his first Breeders' Cup appearance since '94. He is 0 for 5 at the Cup, but this unbeaten filly, winner of the Frisette, could change all that. 7, as you see, class above, saddled by Bob Baffert. 2 for 2 with a dominant 16-length victory in the Kentucky Cup Juvenile Fillies. 8, Victory USA, also a Baffert horse, owned by Kentucky Bloodstock and sales agent Tom Van Meter. Only 1 win, but in the money in 2 Grade 1 stakes races. Number 9, Renaissance Lady, gives young Tyler Bays his first Breeders' Cup mount. Bob and Beverly Lewis have owned a couple of Breeders' Cup winners, and Wayne Lucas, the all-time leading Cup trainer. But this lady has only 1 win in 7 starts, the most experienced filly in the race. Number 10, Vino Tinto, purchased last week by Triple B Farms. She's won a pair of 6-furlong races at Louisiana Downs. Number 11 is Zosima, has the saddle services of Pat Day, who has won this race twice. Owned by the Darley stable of Sheikh Mohammed, the Crown Prince of Dubai. She's won 3 of 4. And number 12 is Tarlo. This filly ran off with jockey Mike Smith before the Oakleaf Stakes. She still finished second to Half Bridled. She does have a race over this Santa Anita track. That's the field for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. As we look at Be Gentle. Be Gentle, we don't want to forget her. That's another Lucas trainee, owned by Tom Van Meter, who has Victory USA with Baffert. Winner of Keeneland's Darley Alcibiades by 5.5. And of course, number 14 is Half Bridled. Won all 3 of her starts by a combined 19 lengths. That's how brilliant she has been. But the fans not convinced today with that outside post position, post 14. We'll see how the handicappers assess that post 14. Bob and Mike.
Thanks, Tom. And, you know, the Madman tried to pick against the favorite in the distaff. You just didn't get mad enough. You should have really gone for the bullet in there.
Second place wasn't bad for an 8 to 1
Wasn't
shot.
bad for an 8 to 1. You know what, though? The juvenile fillies is usually a pretty formful race. 9 out of the 19 runnings have gone to the favorite. Half Bridled is the favorite right now at 5 to 2, but the 14 post going to be tough.
Yeah, that'll be very difficult to win from there. My choice here is Society's selection for a couple of reasons. Number one, her trainer, Alan Jerkins, is the best trainer in the world never to have won a Breeders' Cup race. He's been in the Hall of Fame for some 40 years, can come off the pace, and with Half Bridle saddled with that outside post, I like the way she can rate and come off the pace, as she did in the Frizette Stakes at Belmont Park, Mike, with Ray Ganpath. So I like that closing style that she showed here in winning the Frizette, which has been a very popular race for graduates to win this Juvenile Fillies.
And you know what? I agree with you. I thought that was a very, very powerful race. And I think something will win from off the pace, too. You heard Baffert mention that after that first race, when Patrick Valenzuela stole the race on the front end with the slow fractions, he thinks they'll be gunning to the lead this race. So I think Class Above can lay right back off of the early leaders. There's a shot of Class Above, David Flores. Baffert did the same thing with Vindication as he's doing with this horse. He ran Vindication at Turfway Park in the Kentucky Cup around 2 turns. He came to Arlington and won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's doing it with Class Above today. She came to Turfway, she won the Fillies race, and she's here in the Juvenile Fillies. I think she'll be coming from off the pace. I think that she's going to be very tough. There's a shot of Half Bridle under Julie Crone. Charles mentioned she's a big filly. That outside post, I definitely think she's the best horse in here, but I think she's going to have to be much the best, Bob, to win from post 14.
And we said it was nice and cool here when it started, but we're getting a little heated up here. This is getting to be about 95 degrees down here in the winner's circle. Tom, back to you. Wow.
All right, guys. Well, if you want to, again, match your selections against Bob and Mike, log on to NBCSports.com. The outside post not bothering the cyber cappers too much. 30% of them say she will win despite post 14. Her odds keep going down slowly but surely. She's at 5-2 for the Juvenile Fillies.
Watching my horse win the Kentucky Derby was a special moment for me. As a supporter of Ronald McDonald House Charities, I've seen many other special moments. Houses like this one provide a home away from home for the families of seriously ill children who are being treated at nearby hospitals. As a thoroughbred owner, I'm proud that the NTRA Charities has created a national program to support Ronald McDonald Houses and to help kids all across America.
Welcome back to Santa Anita as the Juvenile Fillies making their way toward the starting gate for the second Breeders' Cup race of the day. Let's check the odds. Forest Music, some support at 6-1. Society Selection at 5. Class Above, second choice, 7-2. We told you that Half Bridle's odds had been slowly going down. They're down to 2-1 now. Half Bridle, 2-1 favorite in the outside post position. And Society Selection, trained by Alan Jerkins, will be ridden by Ray Ganpath, a 30-year-old native of Trinidad. Rarely rides. He's 5'9". He towers over the other jockeys. There he is with Julie Crone in the jocks room. 5'9", but he does 111 pounds. 30-year-old native of Trinidad who works full-time for the trainer Alan Jerkins. 15 wins and 82 rides this year for Ray Ganpath, who is aboard Society Selection. Bob, will that lack of experience in big races be a problem?
Well, what's interesting about Alan Jerkins is he often uses rather obscure riders. He doesn't care. I mean, he likes Ray Ganpath. You mentioned he's from Trinidad. His father owned a couple of apartment buildings. One was rented to a jockey. That's actually how Ray got into the sport. He's only 7 wins in his life. He's never, believe it or not, of Stanton, Delaware. And here he is in Arcadia, California, riding for the big money. Jerkins could have had Gary Stevens, other big-name riders that were available, had open mounts for this Juvenile filly. No, he's loyal. He likes to go with these little-known riders, and Ray Ganpath gets the assignment on a filly that I think has a big shot in this Juvenile filly race.
All right, Bob, and earlier in our Julie Crone feature, we saw her pal, Donna Brothers. She's reunited with her pal Cisco, the horse. Everybody behaving in this parade to the post?
Tom, absolutely. What a good-looking bunch of horses in this race. You know, I'll tell you what, you mentioned earlier about the riders getting a little nervous. As soon as they get in that starting gate and sit there and look down the track, all those nerves go out the window, and they're all here to play. Tom. All
right, Donna. And the horses do begin to load into the starting gate, and the 2-1 favorite continues to be Half Bridle in post 14. Here's Zosima.
She's a little bit overlooked in the windows there. She won the Arlington Lassie, and her trainer Owen Hardy upset this race with another overlooked filly in Tempera a few years ago.
A mile and a 16th, and you see some of the fillies a little hot already as they load into the starting gate. Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, $1 million. The purse is the purse. A mile and a 16th is the distance. And as they load in, let's send it back upstairs to Tom Durkin for the call of the race.
Waiting for Class Above. Be Gentle and Half Bridle. There is the prodigious Half Bridled and her pixie of a partner, Julie Crone, taking post position number 14. One furlong run to the first turn here at Santa Anita. They are in the gate.
Whoa, wait a minute.
And they're off. Dixie High hustles out of there, and there goes Forest Music, seizing the initiative early as Shadow comes away running in second. Half Bridled stuck out there 4 wide, and Victory USA comes on through between horses as they race into the clubhouse turn, chasing Forest Music. Forest Music out there by a length and a half. Victory USA now second out of the outside as Shadow down toward the inside running in third. Vino Tinto 3 wide fourth. Hollywood Story is now fifth, and Julie Crone has Half Bridled right there in the middle of the pack. She's sixth and in the clear on the outside. Carlo is 4 wide and running along in seventh. Then it's Dixie High, who's eighth toward the inside, followed by Class Above. Running in ninth, Renaissance Lady. Be Gentle on the outside. She's running in 11th position, only about 6 or 7 lengths from the lead. And then the long shot Shadow of Mine, followed by Zozima, who has only 1 horse beaten, and that is Easterner Society Selection, the last of 14. The quarter 22 and 4, the half and 46 and 4. And the field moving into the far turn now. On the inside, Forest Music and Victory USA pressing harder. Half Bridled looms a threatening third on the outside right there, and Julie Crone's got a handful. And then it's Tala running along in fourth. A Shadow is now fifth, and Class Above is coming with her move now on the outside. Hollywood Story's only about 4 or 5 lengths from the lead. Then Vino Tinto as the field turns for home, and Half Bridled comes off the turn in front. Victory USA, Jerry Bailey working on her. Half Bridled in front by neck. Victory USA fights on. A Shadow right there, a threat on the outside third. Down to the final 100 yards. Half Bridled in front, and Half Bridled is pulling away. Victory USA, a Shadow giving futile chase under the line. It's Half Bridled, a filly champion, winning by 3 lengths. A Shadow finished second, and Victory USA was third. There is the happy trainer, and there, 42 years of talent between them. The oversized Half Bridled, the undersized Julie Crone. Both of them remarkable.
And right on cue, Tom, Julie Crone guiding Half Bridled from that outside post position. In fact, the filly held wide almost the entire race. And yet, despite that handicap, she wins impressively, now 4 for 4. And Julie Crone, the first female jockey to win a Breeders' Cup race, just as she was the first to win a Triple Crown race. And her buddy Donna Brothers is alongside. Donna?
Julie, I think I'm going to cry, so I'm just going to say congratulations.
Thank you, Donna. I'm really grateful to Richard and his crew. And what an opportunity this is to ride a mare like this. I think galloping out, she's one of the most fabulous 2-year-olds I've ever sat on in my life. Turning for home, she literally put her ears up and said, "When are we going to start running, Julie?" And I got a little nervous, and I said, "Right about now."
Did you ever think you'd be in a position like this?
Earlier this summer when she ran and was training, she's just so incredible and so tactical. You can do anything with her. And coming up to the Breeders' Cup, Richard did such a great job. And actually, by the half-mile pole, she grabbed the bridle again, and I'm sitting here going, "Oh my gosh, how much more can she drag me?" And she just kept dragging me around there.
Now, I know you've been worried about the 14 pole ever since or post position ever since it came up. At what point in the race did you quit worrying about it?
When she broke about 1.5 lengths in front of everybody, and she has so much length to her that her first leap out of the gate, I was literally like 1 length ahead of everyone, and I got over about 7 pats and 2 jumps. And once again, it's the horse that does it, and she was right there, and she helped us out.
Julie, is this the best horse you've ever ridden now?
I think this is going to be one of the champions I've ever sat on, that's for sure.
All right, you better get back and go get ready to win some more races. Congratulations, Ian.
I think Julie will still be talking about this race for another hour. She is just bubbling after winning her first Breeders' Cup race on the filly Half Bridled. Did you see how Half Bridled towered over Cisco, the pony that Donna was on? This is a big, strong filly, and despite the outside post position, she kept her record unblemished, giving Dick Mandela, the trainer, his third Breeders' Cup champion. He also won this race in 1993 with Phone Chatter, and celebrates again here with Half Bridled. And the crowd loves Julie Crone, and as she comes back in front of the stands, listen, the fans acknowledge her victory as we have crowned our first champion of 2003. Julie says no. Applaud for the filly.
Julie's playing the crowd. They love this filly, but Julie's got to take a lot of credit. She gave her a very, very clever ride leading the gate, but she had lots of filly under her. That was a dominating, overwhelming performance. Star is confirmed. She wasn't born, but she is a star. Now she's here.
Julie Crone, the first female jockey to ride a Breeders' Cup winner, and her partner, Half Bridle. Congratulations for Julie Crone, who rides Half Bridle to victory in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. The most formful of all the Breeders' Cup races. She's the 10th favorite to win the Juvenile Fillies. But the bettors got a bonus because of that outside post. She went off at 2-1 when you would expect she would have been lower than that. A Shadow second, Victory USA third. Half Bridle, a 2-year-old filly by Unbridled out of Half Queen by Deputy Minister. Bred in Kentucky by Wertheimer and Frere and owned by the Wertheimer farm. Let's go to Trevor for analysis of the race. And going to that first turn, Half Bridle was parked about 4 wide, but didn't seem to bother her at all, Trevor.
Just breathtaking, Tom. Right here she is in the very outside gate, and as Julie was saying earlier, just watch how fast she breaks. She breaks a length in front of the 2 horses on her inside, and then she can get in fairly good position. But unfortunately for Julie, well, unfortunately had she lost, the inside horses begin to float out, and you'll see that she's actually, although only 4 horses wide, she's about 7, 8 horses wide into that turn. Now watch her take a look back. Not often American jockeys look behind their shoulder, but right there, you see that? Now when jockeys do that, they are telling you, I have a ton of horse under me. I think if this had been a Thursday afternoon, Julie Crone would have just sat still and cruised to the wire, but she says, hey, this is a $1 million Breeders' Cup race. Let's go for it, girl. And as she was saying earlier, Unbridled was almost asking her, when are we going to get down to work? Well, here they get down to work, and just look at that fluent stride on Half Bridle. Undoubtedly the best 2-year-old filly in the world right now, and it's going to be very interesting to see who can beat her. She's such a magnificent animal. She's still maturing. I hate to see her as a 3-year-old. She's going to be dynamic. Mike?
And a very happy winner's circle here. Half Bridled, the 14 post, no problem at all. Owner Alan Wertheimer, Dick Mandela, the trainer. Great ride by Julie Crone to make the presentation. Michael Imperioli, he's from the hit series Sopranos, and Allison Janney from the West Wing. And Allison knows a little bit about a good filly because her grandfather, Stuart Janney, owned Ruffian.
Yes, he did. It was one of the most amazing races I've ever seen in my life. Tragic, but I had a great introduction into horse racing, and that was a beautiful race today. Congratulations. And to make the presentation, Michael?
Congratulations. That was incredible. You got a great horse on your hands. Nice work.
And you guys really do have a great horse on your hand. The 14 post, Dick, you know, a lot of people, including myself, thought that's going to be awfully tough. She's not going to be able to overcome that.
And I'll stick with the word I chose from the start. She's pretty special, and it took a special horse to do that.
She really is. And Alan, how were you feeling when they hit the top of the stretch? You said when you saw Julie move outside the top of the stretch, you thought you were home.
I thought when I saw her after the first 150 meters, yards, back in position, I thought we had a good chance.
Julie, what a job. What a job. I mean, she was out there in the 14 post. It just didn't seem to bother you at all. You told Donna that she broke like a bullet.
Yeah, I'd actually told Chris earlier that she has such length to her and so much. She's so strong and so quick and agile that I didn't think it was going to bother her. And when her first leap out of the gate was so powerful, she put like 2 lengths on about 6 of the horses, and I got to drop over. And great horses make jockeys look good, and this is one of the most incredible young horses I've ever sat on in my life. She turned for home and put her ears up,